Welcome to Soca or Die. This is season 2. Don't call it a comeback because we will always hear. I don't know where you left us off at the beginning of 2020. We were talking about Soca then, getting through Young Soca, More Soca, Soca Monarch. This time around, we are socially distanced, but not socially distant. I don't know, but I have the look on all your face. You can see us, so hi. This is your first time seeing us. And if you are listening to the podcast, we have not forgotten you. We are still available on all the streaming platforms. And thank you so much for your listens, your likes, and your shares over the last year. And we hope to bring you more content that you can engage in and do a little more to amplify and to share the episode. So thank you so much for your support. My panel is here again this year, the same panel. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm Bruce. Welcome back.
Hi, I'm Peter Christopher, Trinidad journalist and soca lover.
Okay, so I'm Evo, and once again, I still don't know why I'm here, but I'll try to find something valuable to contribute. And if not, I'm just gonna listen in and laugh and maybe react in the way the audience will.
I am Kareem. I'm here for the lime and the laughs again. Had a great time the last time, and we're doing it virtual this time. So let's see how we can get through this without snacks. Let's do this.
Well, yes, the last time we had some food, we had drink, we had some sorrel, I believe, some good sorrel. So we had some wings. This time we don't have that, but we will trod through anyway.
This may or may not be white and Sprite with melted ice because it took us a little while to get through setup. But
oh gosh. Everybody has something to drink. I just have water somewhere. Next episode, we'll have some.
This episode with a toast to us.
Yes.
To them.
A toast to what, Kareem?
To us and the audience, to us and them.
Right. Okay. So we prepare that for the next one.
Yes, of course.
All right. This episode we are talking about 2020 recap. Now, ideally, this should have been on Ash Wednesday, but due to extenuating circumstances, so we're unable to get on our soapbox for that. So we are here. We are recapping 2020, the best of it, the worst of it, the Road March, the Soca Monarch, because last season the panel had some strong predictions. I don't know if you remember. So were those predictions?
Feels like so long ago.
Yeah, like I'm having a hard time remembering what the predictions were,
Says every Trinity, because what you predicted was what actually won it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's how all Trinities are. Oh please.
I feel like my predictions are spot on. I feel. Do you have the recording or
of the last episode? I do.
Yeah.
But
are you gonna play that now?
That would be a bit difficult.
Very good. Okay, good. So I predicted. My predictions came true, guys. And if you hear the audio from the last one, like if she inserts it here, it was obviously edited.
No. And this is what's gonna keep you all honest, because when we do the playback from the last episode, I know they was going to win, and they really didn't win. So let's
No, but I'm pretty sure they were going to win. So,
suspected strongly.
It had all kind of names in the mix. Let me go back to my handy dandy notebook. All kind of names. Somebody had
one picked Council. No one picked the shell. We know that for sure.
Don't lie.
Who picked the
Conshell was in the mix. Second Star, was it to the max? That's the name of it? Was
Second Star?
Was it in the mix? Yes.
I think it was more Star Gal and them that it picked.
What do you, excuse me? I never heard that term in my life before. To what are you referring?
I don't know. It's just a term that came back to mind.
All sorts of names were in the mix.
What is a Second Star?
Second Star, Conshell was heavy, given heavy play. It was on the top of the list. So let's not tell lies now. But so I don't know if you want to start with Road March or Soca Monarch, given that the winner is the same. I don't know, either one.
Eh.
Well, it was a good year for Iowa George. That's all I can say. A really good year for him. You know, I he had the conch shell and he had stage gone bad, which was dominating and forced upon regard depending on your point of view.
More the latter.
Or the latter, yeah. I mean, because even
no.
I don't know if you remember, Evo, when we were going to cross the stage, and they were like, "What you want? What you want?" Every stage gone bad, stage gone bad.
Right.
I think there was a bit of disappointment on some people's faces that it wasn't going to be conch shell.
Conch shell. I feel as though if we're referring to the same people / person, I thought that they reacted. I thought their reaction was commendable. I honestly felt as though somebody else might have reacted poorly, but I think it just shows like years of experience and acknowledgement that it's not your year. I think they knew that the race was already won by State Gone Bad, and so I felt the individual handled it with real professionalism and even to me a certain amount of respect for what was the monster hit of the year.
Because he even joined in and
he joined in and he sang
Well, I think that the individual, I believe you all are referring to Marshall, kind of got the memo kind of early because he went to a lot of events before. He was basically everywhere for carnival, and it was one of the few carnivals I could say people just weren't on Marshall at all. Like even him performing the year Marshall on stage, and if he wasn't singing that pops guitar rhythm, nobody was really vibing to him as much. I remember in CIC when he finally brought out the conch shell, man, they still were kind of like, all right, we're still waiting for Kes. So,
but I don't think they weren't on him because he had some good songs last year. I think it was they weren't on that song because I think everybody saw it as you're trying the same formula, the same thing that we did 2019 with Family, and here we are again, except it wasn't as well done.
I think
was it not as well done, or was Stage Gone Bad just a better song? Because sometimes I hate when people do that, right? Where it's just like they try to make it out as though, you know what, he has been the reigning champ, but he just didn't come good this year is why somebody else won. I think he did come good. I think Conch Shell was a solid song. I just think Stage Gone Bad was the better song. It's not that Conch Shell was bad. It's just that Stage Gone Bad was great.
I disagree. I think Stage Gone Bad is great. I think Conch Shell is bad. That's the new ants in his catalog.
That is
I'm with Evo. I'm with Evo on this.
Besides ants,
I think
what is Conch Shell better than in Marshall's illustrious catalog?
And that's what I'm saying, and especially when you put it up against the previous collaboration, that's what I'm saying, because you try to do the same thing, like I said, unintentionally, so perhaps, I don't know, but you use the same kind of collaboration formula, the three-way collaboration, three big names, okay, but when you, unfortunately, is it a good song? Perhaps. Is it a great song, like a road march? I don't think so, and is it one that I'm going to play 2 years? Am I going to play it this year? No.
Go play in cricket.
No man, I will still wind low for Conch Shell. I telling you, flat Conch Shell was not like, I do not think it was a poor song. I think had Stage Gone Bad not come out, it would have been the song. But Stage Gone Bad was just an amazing song.
Would it have been the song had it not been Stage Gone Bad? Would it have been the song because there was nothing else?
I mean.
Because we have for Road March, that is the results. In third place was Nadia Batson with 9 plays with Fat. Those were the top 3. Stage Gone Bad, I think 386 plays. Then we had Conch Shell, 96 plays. And then Nadia Batson.
It's easy for us to sit down and kind of say what if, right? But
Which
in my mind, Stage Gone Bad was one of those like lightning striking in a bottle amazing songs. To me, that is one of those songs that I feel like a few years from now, it's nowhere near Palance. Palance is that song that is going to endure and endure and endure and endure. Stage Gone Bad. Peter disagrees. Peter disagrees. I think I could still. I will not balance in the with the same
Zest.
Vigor.
Yeah.
But I will balance. You know, like right here, and still enjoy it and not be annoyed when I hear it, and I'll still, you know what I mean. Balance is still gonna be. But I will. But I want to say, Stage Gone Bad for me was one of those really amazing songs.
Like
So
we
it was a runaway hit. So that there was like it wasn't that anything else could catch up with what was the caliber, you know, the quality of Stage Gone Bad. So I feel like that is reflected in the results. Is not to say had Stage Gone Bad not existed, I feel like we might have had a tight race like we usually have. It would have been tighter. It would not have been 90 something to 6. It might have been more, you know what I mean? But Stage Gone Bad was just so good. Yeah, I think Stage Gone Bad was just so good that they ran away with it. They ran away.
But in second and third, because I don't see Fat as a road march. I'm sorry. It was a good song. Hit.
Yeah, I think that actually kind of, brings into focus how much it was not a race in terms of road march songs that we had this year. I mean, for some people, it was basically Cass versus Cass with his song with Voice.
Right.
Their promoter as well was really big, but it was not considered a road march song. It was just a song that dominated the season.
Yeah.
What
Now,
about? Sorry, go ahead.
Now about you mentioned that, well, Evo mentioned that it wasn't a case of people not being Marshall. I think it was a case of people just being like, well, we're not doing this Marshall thing again this year, more than they not liking his music. His music was pretty good this year, and people just didn't give him that kind of forward that they would usually give Marshall. They were more on Kiss. They were more on Kiss. They were giving Iowa a bit more forward because he did this collaboration with Cass, which was kind of different for both of them. Because you're not usually seeing Iowa doing that kind of vibe, and you're not seeing Cass doing that kind of wild man kind of soca same way.
True.
What about Rakshan from Lyrical?
Ooh.
I think every
Oh,
Carnival.
that was a huge tune.
But was it? Why? How come it wasn't in the road march contenders?
No, I think that's one of those necessary songs for the season because you need a bulk of songs for the season to be good. But I don't think Rakshan was one of those. It just could take a road march song. It's a really good song, and it's a top
Well, you
song
see,
from Fringe artists.
the thing about Rakshan is that it had a shared lifespan with the Problem Child, right? And there's still a big debate as to which song is the better song out of the two on that rhythm.
Yeah.
Depending on who you ask. I think there might have been a level of sympathy for Lyrical because some people felt he should have won Soca Monarch with his song, but I don't think it ever came into the consciousness as, hey, this is a road march song, as Kareem said.
Well, speaking of road march, so Iowa won the road march. Well, Iowa featuring Kess. This is, of course, Kess, his first road march victory. This is the second victory for Iowa. The last time he won road march was in 2000, so 20 years ago. If this was not a sign of the times, I don't know what is. But just Peter is like what? But this just to say a little factoid tidbit, I should have put this up on screen. Did you know that road march existed unofficially since about 1834, since the abolition of slavery, and then it came into sort of mainstream in 1932, and then in 1946 it was rebranded. So for all the what's the word? I don't want to call it culture doubters. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to call them. But we have a long history of this thing about culture, soca music, and even this road march competition, because I see some people in some places trying to claim the art form. It's not gonna happen on my watch. But but here, from road march to soca monarch. So was the soca monarch victory deserved? Now I have some thoughts, but I will hand it over to Kareem first. Did Iowa deserve the soca monarch title?
I think that Iowa is a safe default choice for winning.
What?
Iowa is a safe default choice for winning something like Soca
Well,
Monarch.
he did say he have the most seconds in soca monarch history. So
Of course. And if it's close, give it to Iowa basically, because he has the pedigree, the I don't want to say it sound bad, but he been up there in it for a while.
he said since the inception, that since 1993 or somewhere around there. He said he's been in
That's
every
correct.
Soca Monarch.
Been in Soca Monarch now, and he's had some close losses. So in a somewhat weak Soca season that was 2020, it's easy to get Iowa that.
But I mean, is that fair? Like, what are the duties of the reigning soca monarch that you give it to Iowa as a sure thing because he will, that he's going to. Come on,
It's integrity. You keep a certain standard of the competition at a big one win it now.
I see.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh Lord.
no disrespect to Rafi B, but you didn't really want to hear Rafi win Soca Monarch. Be like, what trash was that? Whether you watch Soca Monarch, I'm gonna be like, oh, Rafi you win that. Look, that was tripping. It's
Lord
just
help us.
a perception. Who wins Soca Monarch? Iowa? Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. You're comfortable with that. It's not
You
a.
come to, no offense to Mr. B, but just saying, just an example.
Right, because in that one, Iowa came first, lyrical second with the same Russian, and then
Right.
Olatunji came third with Thankful. Now, I cannot tell you how Thankful go. Sorry. It wasn't one of those that stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But in the
Thankful,
groovy monarch,
are we grateful? We jump into the sky, singing hallelujah. Something and a something.
Yeah.
Waving
She
hallelujah.
has it.
And a something.
that's it. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Full disclosure.
So I wanted to go last on this because I covered Soca Monarch.
Mhm.
And so on performances, I'll say Iowa George probably did not deserve to win Soca
Did
Monarch.
not.
You were
But
there in person, so
on,
you felt the energy of the crowd and everything.
Give me the energy you want.
on song, on sheer level of the song that he had, he
Yeah.
totally deserved to win Soca Monarch. And Olatunji totally deserved to come in the top three.
Hmm.
On performance, as
Okay.
did the groovy Soca Monarch, College Boy Jesse, who half of the country still doesn't know the song, but
I
his
never
performance
heard
was.
it.
But I literally sat there with the 400 people that were there at the point in time and watched College Boy Jesse perform, and I was like, this is a really good performance, like
Mhm.
top to bottom, presentation, vocals, everything. I was like, this is as good a performance I've seen all season. So when he won, I wasn't mad. A lot of people were upset for Skinny Banton, right? There's the horn in me. Why
Yeah.
I do wrong again? Like, people thought he should have won, but no, on performance, College Boy Jesse deserved his title in Groovy. Not so sure about Iowa. Lyrical have a case.
Yeah. Which is one of the questions I wanted to ask, because now you were there live and I watched the the rebroadcast or the video of it, and I'm like, what is happening with Iowa? Because even at times I don't know if it was his voice or if he was tired, but he just didn't sing. And I know there's crowd participation and all that, but he genuinely looked like, and I think, when he said because he gave credit to Kes for running on stage and making it happen and that kind of thing. But I think if Kes
Probably
didn't,
saved this performance.
yeah,
That probably saved this performance. It did.
yeah, and then so I think, and not only that, but unfortunately, I think both of them sounded a little, oh gosh, this is
Pause.
the season is coming to an
For
end.
me,
So definitely not on vocals, right? But definitely the song carried them. I just remember the backdrop of the stage. I don't remember what the people on the stage were doing, but
So
definitely the song I think carried them and the energy because the crowd was in it from
I
the
I want to jump in because I don't recall. I remember seeing Ola's performance for sure, right? And I was pleased to see that he had tried to bring a level of like production and showmanship to the thing. And that is
That's
what
correct.
that is what lacked in I was for me as well. Like they to me they just kind of phoned it in because they knew the song was big. And sometimes I feel insulted when that happens on a Soca Monarch stage because I mean, as much as I made fun of it and what are the duties of a Soca Monarch or whatever, when we want to continue to no, but they leave room for people to make fun of the thing
Of
when they
course.
treat it like that. When they treat it as like for me, Soca Monarch is supposed to be like the production of the season. This is where, and I know, cost wise, it's not something that's always, of benefit to them to do. But for the culture, I feel like they could afford to do a little more than they do. Somebody like Voice, who, wins every time he touches that stage. I think part of the win is because of the respect he shows for that stage. He always tries to bring a level of production value to this thing. And so for me, I always feel like it's a good thing when they reward the people who put the effort and energy, because I remember sitting down and thinking of what I wanted to see for that song. That song was amazing, and I wrote a whole Facebook status, which I have ready for you guys, where I was describing for myself, for my few followers on social media, what I felt the ideal performance of that song would be like to really, you know what I mean? Like you have the
carry it.
biggest song, but don't phone it in, man. I didn't like that at all.
It's kind of
I
like
wanted.
just show up, just show up.
Yeah.
But Soca Monarch as a whole, as a bigger artist, they, Soca Monarch has devolved to the point as a bigger artist. It's like that's a throwaway thing. Like I only go in there because I go and win. It's a throwaway thing.
Make some money. Because and we spoke about it in the last season too when we spoke about Soca Monarch and how it has changed over the years. And I mean the same kind of respect that that you were saying, like even Bungie would give to Soca Monarch in terms of, what, I'm going to do something new, I'm going to do something different, I'm going to try, to and we even spoke about the comment allegedly from Marshall. I think it was carried in the newspaper about, you can't spend 1 million to make, to try to
Right. It's not
right,
cost effective.
right. But I think that something has to give, because if you're giving me a fet performance for the Soca Monarch, then what's the point? And I think
Then
that's
I'm
the
gonna go to a fete.
and
Yeah.
that's right. And that's the same thing I think with the crowd and people going, because if I'm going to go to a fete, right, I'm just going to go to a fete where I can see the artists that I want to see. I prefer go there than come here to see a whole series of performers that may or may not, tickle my
Yeah.
fancy. But if you're giving me something to go to, something to look forward to, if I know that the level of showmanship, production, whatever is going to be
It's a concert and competition. That's what it should be.
Would it work though? And now, so this is like a question to put out there for the promoters, right? Would it work to retain a certain amount of the budget so that the entertainers don't totally bear the cost of their production, so that we have at least a base, we have a standard, say 6 grand, 10 grand and if you want to add to that as an individual, then you can. But we are managing the budget and we are saying, come to us, this is our contribution, $10,000 worth in stage props, decor, choreography, what the hell ever it is that you'll need. But 6 grand, 10 grand goes towards just stage production, and then layer on top of that if you have the means. But that way, at least as a producer, as a promoter, then I'm sure that my audiences also are enjoying this. This is the base standard that I expect to present to my audience. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Can I ask something? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the problems I think with that is that, remember, Soca Monarch is a private competition. Soca Monarch is not affiliated largely with NCC. They may receive some sort of funding, but they are not like the March Gras where NCC puts on that production.
Right.
So because it's a private entity and they rely on sponsors, they don't know, like, okay, like if you had Carnival this year, you can approach Carib now and say, hey, can we get $40 million? Carib can't afford these things. Well, whoever, they can't afford this in these times, so they can't. I don't see them being able to give that base amount to keep that standard because it fluctuates. And then the promoter themselves has to make money. And NCC doesn't have to really make money on the productions they put on because they do.
Right.
I, as a production company, if I were them, if I were they, I have to always consider my bottom line. Do I give these 30 people $10,000 each, or do I keep $300,000 to add to my profits?
Well, I think, I hear that, but then I also think sometimes of the position I sit in professionally where those questions do come up, right? Those questions come up. And for me, I always prefer to do the things that will shore up my production and the quality of my production, because I feel then that I will attract more patrons. And so for me, it's about rejigging my budget. Maybe I will spend less somewhere else to make sure that my output, and I think because I work in corporate, very conservative to some extent, but corporate Trinidad, and in an organization that is always so mindful of our stand. We talk about that all the time, is it to our standard that even when we sponsor certain projects, there's one that is wildly popular that we sponsor now, wildly popular every year. We at least fill Napa. And one of the things that I had to do to ensure that that met our standard, and therefore we could get to the point of filling a Napa, whoever, a Globe, or wherever we want to go, is I had to make sure that the production was of the kind of quality that would attract people. When we wanted to start to position this thing so that it wasn't just grassroots people seeing the value in this thing, we wanted to get the eyes of decision makers on it. We wanted to get everybody, no matter your station, talking about this thing. I had to sit down and consider what are the things I could do to assist. And this is not our organic project. This is a sponsorship of ours. But we came in there and I said to myself and to the team, all right, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to look at the budget, take it line item by line item, and let's see what we can do to position this thing differently. So even if that means we pay a little less out somewhere else, this thing must go to Napa. I'm going to cover the cost of hosting this at Napa, because if you say you want the ministers to be viewing this, if you say you want the media to feel comfortable coming out to this and carrying this, then we have to put it in the kind of hall that is worthy of their, patronage. So
Let
we're
me
taking it to Napa.
Let me also say, because you also pay the finalists, all 10 or how many of them, you also pay them an appearance fee. And if I'm not mistaken, it is around that same $5,000 to $10,000 to appear. So to me, it's again similar to you're paying an artist to perform. So instead, that could be one way where you use that instead of a cash payment. It's
Right.
the artist will go for that. But another option is if you minimize the number. So let's say you have the top 5 performing in the finals. If you minimize the number of finalists, then you might be able to do a little more with your budget, because then instead of paying what is 10,000 by how many top bottom, how have you look at it, bottom 7, so that's about $70,000, because then you pay your, what is it, 50 for your top 3, 50 and up. I can't remember how it goes, but you have at least at about $70,000 dollars there that you could use towards your production value, and like I said, however you work it, but something has to be done.
You sit and you go line item by line. That's what you do. And you make $1 out of 50 cents. That's what you do. You prioritize, and then you decide what, you know what I mean? I hear that it's hard, but I also don't think it's hard, because it's about sacrifice and prioritizing things.
Not willing to pay for quality. So
that's the thing, but you have to put on a quality show if you wanted to endure, and you have to grow and change with the times. You have to upgrade.
What you said, Kareem?
I'm sorry, I was over talking.
No, go ahead.
I'm saying a lot of those decision makers think that Soca Monarch sells itself on its name, because for years it was the premier thing, and I don't know if they didn't notice the drop off.
Oh, they did. They definitely did.
And it was the premier thing because of. Go ahead, Peter.
They noticed the drop off, and that is why, for better or worse, Marshall Montano was brought back into the competition.
Mm.
Because Soca Monarch has been in decline since Bungie said he was done with it the first time. And that's when they started realizing, hey, if we don't have the major acts in the competition, nobody gonna want to come to the competition. Because before it was you're sure to get the best songs in Soca Monarch. And then slowly when people started leaving, people was like, you know what? I not go and spend my money to go Soca Monarch when I could go Girl Power or Pier 1 Cooler Fete or whatever else they had on Carnival Friday and see the people I want to see, as opposed to getting vexed at the end of Soca Monarch because I don't care for who win, you know.
Yeah. But
So
speaking of the people leaving, because at the end of this Soca Monarch 2020, Iowa had said, you know, he will be back again next year. Well, he will be back again in 2021 to defend the title, to defend the crown, because you know, he was like, you can't just leave. If the winners leave, then you know there is no sort of continuity. There is no, you know, because people come to see the winner defend their title. So maybe he is you know, right in that regard. But then again, eventually, if I'm beaten into second place like an Iowa the year before and the year before and the year before that, would I come back? You know, do I keep coming back because I'm a big name? You know,
I,
you know.
I don't think he's ever left. That's the thing. I was
No,
never
okay,
left.
but
He's
I mean,
always been there.
well, right, but I mean for somebody else. So if you are the winner, so let's say you are who this boy Swappy, right? You won last year, Groovy Soca. You come back again this year. You came second. Do I come back for the next year?
Let's not forget as well, with Soca Monarch, there was a lot of shadiness in the clauses of the contracts as well,
Yeah.
where if you won, you are forced to come and
To
return
return.
or
Which
forfeit a chunk of your money as well. So a lot of persons, and also before that, and so if you were performing in Soca Monarch, you couldn't perform anywhere else on the night.
Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of the bigger artists would say, I could potential. And remember, Soca Monarch wasn't always $1 million or $2 million for winning. It was a couple 100,000. So if I, as a big artist, if I'm Marshall Montano,
And I will Lexus.
and I will Lexus, don't forget that. If I'm Marshall Montano and I am getting $100,000 per performance, and I perform 4 places in the night for 15 minutes each, I already make more money than he winning for Soca Monarch.
Yeah.
So don't try to get me there, get all your competition better. Then he came back when it went up to 2 million. It was like, oh, word, I can make that 2 million in one place? Yes. So the big artists not just run out the competition because of the quality, but they also dealt, remember Fayan had a controversy with that. If I win, I have to come back. Or
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
deal like that with persons and they already feel slighted, you can't expect them to do it for the culture and
Yeah.
your benefit now.
But then I think that is them trying to find different ways to attract the big names to the competition, make it watch worthy, and you know, trying to tweak and do different things. I mean,
But then I find it, you know, just again, from where I sit, I feel like there's no sustainability in anything, right? You know, I said it as an aside, it was a joke, but what are the responsibilities of the Soca Monarch, or what else is included in that prize winning package? You know what I mean? What do we do? There can be ways. I feel as though the whole thing probably needs a little overhaul and a little sit down and a little injection of youth and reality into the thing, so that they could start talking about, a package as the winner, a package of maybe some sponsorship and support to try to, push the Soca Global Open House. Just came across my TV screen, and I thought to myself, if we really created a winner's package for these people, so you get $1 million in your hand, and then we're going to invest 500,000 or how much ever dollars into, you know, getting your music in, you know, or you become an ambassador for the culture for the next year. And
all of the different carnivals, you must go.
You don't even need to. We pay you per diem. We sending you as an ambassador to the island, and we gigging you for the year.
Mm-hmm.
We sending you for the year. touch this carnival, touch that carnival. We using the might and the weight of the office of the Prime Minister, or who the heck ever Minister of Culture, to get you to get you on a stage in South by Southwest, to get you on a small stage in the back of Coachella, to get you on a small stage in Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
Next,
why did the government get involved? Remember, it's still a
but
private
I'm
company.
saying,
Yeah,
no,
but at the same time, even as a private entity, you have to build those collaborations because
you have to start thinking in that way. Let's work on our.
and the point is, so there is, there's public goods, there are private goods, and I think there are public goods provided by private entities at times, and I think this is a public good, even though it's being provided by a private entity, and there are social goals attached to it. So I think forging those connections, and it should not be difficult to forge those connections, but forging those connections would be important, because again, all of that is tied up into what does this thing mean? What does Soca Monarch mean at the end of the day? And what does it mean to say, like you said, what does it mean to say, oh, I am a Soca Monarch winner, or
I am a Soca
Monarch 8 times? Okay,
I am the reigning Soca Monarch, but yet I am Iowa George sitting down balling because COVID come and I can't perform at a single place. I just had to wait to get a call up for somebody virtual concert to run on in my Ralph Lauren jersey and get to down. Sorry, I take
This is as with the public trust and public money. Why would I invest in Soca Monarch to do that for them?
You see, but
you see, we had this conversation. Now, I know, guys, I said that I'll try to keep episodes in 2021 to 30 minutes, but the conversation. But I had the same or similar conversation about Marshall getting a grant for his chocolate company, right?
Mhm.
Because these things, especially when it comes to, my background is trade and international trade, and we talk about trade and creative industries. These things are a sort of linchpin or a gateway to other things. So who is the winning Iowa George as a soca ambassador, if you want to call it that, as the reigning soca monarch, is in those different markets, whether regional or outside of the region, that puts the spotlight on Trinidad and Tobago, not just soca music, but Trinidad and Tobago tourism and the products. When I talk about the products, I don't just mean the carnival products or the products surrounding chubby, the Ole, the well, we don't have ArcelorMittal steel anymore, but all of those things, because it's tied up in what is brand Trinidad and Tobago.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with the chocolate. I mean, we can debate that in another episode because people were debating whether or not he should have gotten a grant for the chocolate company. And again, those things, if we use our ambassadors, soca, culture, sport, whoever, as the gateway too, because then somebody's going to try Marshall chocolate and say, oh gosh, well, Trinidad Cocoa really saying thing.
What else they have?
Maybe let me try another brand of
exactly
chocolate from the
Trinidad.
So I think there is, and I mean, asking about a soca ambassador the same way, why do we have any other ambassador, whether it is a sport ambassador or an attaché, what do you call it, diplomatic ambassador? What is the point? The point is that you go and you spread the name and the image and the brand of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is what other people have been able to do, and we ain't doing it yet. Because if I was to talk about Rihanna and Barbados and the relationship between the two, and I mean, yes, it's a different platform or a larger scale because she sings mainstream music, but the backward and forward linkage between Rihanna and Barbados, I think, is a lesson that we should not overlook.
Yeah, but we have Trinidadians here, so we're not really so good with the heroes now.
Well, you see, and again, part of that is cultural confidence and this whole thing about cultural identity. Because again, you would be a reigning soca monarch, warmly embraced in the diaspora, right? Who will fetch you when you come and celebrate and wave palms in the air. I don't know, right? Well, flags. There'll be flags in our rags and flags. But yes, wave those in the air when you come, and like treat you like King Sparrow. I mean, that's what it ought to be.
I was just thinking about part of the Soca Monarch package where you should have your music being played in like the airport for the air.
Even how we sell our country, even how we market the country, because you can't tell me you can't put your Soca Monarch in an ad, like a destination ad.
Exactly.
Right? You can't tell me he can't do some PSAs throughout the year. Remember to wash your hands, like you can't tell me we can.
Right, you could write the jingle and all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could basically, like, the package could literally be oh God, this is like the PR side, right? But the package would literally be we own your likeness and your music for the next year, and we market you extensively. We throw all our weight behind you for the next year. And we
Right.
send you out there. So we could put the lyrics in your mouth too, because this is the contract that you have signed. You are
True.
now the nation's soca monarch.
Yeah.
And if
I
you don't
want
want to enter,
I want to I mean we're gonna go over in as much as we already went over by 10 minutes, guys. We're already here. Let's go through the 2020 songs. Because we covered the Monarch and we covered the Road March songs from 2020. Now what I did is I was like, okay, because to think about what were the good songs from the year, I made my list first and then I went back to the soca playlist, because sometimes it's like, oh gosh, there was that song. But the ones that instantly come to mind will be the ones that you're gonna listen to next year and the year after that and the year after
Can
that.
I confess, when you were talking about Ruction, I had to search it on YouTube quietly because I was like, what the heck is that?
Because you know why? Because because it's on the same rhythm as the Problem Child, so you might have heard of the thought about the
What is
problem.
the problem, child, as well?
Insurance
Crazy people, wash it up.
and the van.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. And we go mash up everything like we have
I
insurance.
struggled. Yes, that's what I'm about.
the year did a number on everyone, and after Carnival,
No.
we were dealing with the year, not
What
Yes, yeah,
What?
I hunkered down and I
Yeah.
forgot all fond memories.
what get me through was, you see that pops guitar rhythm, you see Marshall on the rhythm, play harder. Oh gosh. That was like my alarm. That was my, oh gosh, another day of work from home. Yeah. That was that.
Private Ryan Soca Sampler 2018 was
Mm.
was
So a sample of
2008. It's
18,
easy.
say, 2018.
2018 Soca Sampler from Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Through my days in the early part of the quarantine. No, not gonna lie.
Oh gosh.
Not the 2020. Like again, the 2020 Soca for me, if I'm just being honest, like it's a struggle for us to have a debate about these things because it is so far removed from my consciousness.
Feels like 10
Yeah.
years ago to me already.
Really?
Like,
Like,
you know what dominates my YouTube playlist these days? Elmo.
Well,
wow.
on,
Okay,
understood.
Okay.
that's understood. Well, the song that really carried me through is Trini Boy Juicy and Wetty, Bottle Overhead. That was
I have
that
not.
was my song for 20.
Are you calling songs by their actual names here? Was
It
the
can be
popular
water, it can be rum,
Right,
rum.
see?
It can be
Yeah.
any. You go into
All you
What's
needed to
what's the title of the song?
What's up?
Bottle Overhead.
Oh, I only know it could be rum. You see, and
it
this
could
is
be
what
water, it could be rum. That's the name of the song.
right. It could be right. So if you say, and that's the problem too when you're trying to search, because you're there trying to search lyrics and it's like, oh no, the song is called Bottle Overhead.
The funny thing is, right, for the entire carnival, I was hearing that song and I was like, who sang this? I don't know. And I'm looking for it and playing all these other things. And then I went to Pon the Grass, which was on my birthday. And the guy came and performed it. And I was like, oh, that's the guy
Like,
name is Trini Boy Juicy. Right. I know what to look for.
First of all, that's a Trini that sang that. Did not know.
He's a
Trini
Trini
Boy-
based in the UK, apparently.
All right.
So-
Hey,
you know
okay.
what I discovered only after watching something I watched. Can't remember. One of them virtual thing. But it's not even a last year song, but it played a lot last year, was Whiny Whiny, which I wouldn't even know that was the name of the song, even though
That's whiny.
Right.
You calling me? I like that one.
yes, she Guyanese, Tamika
Yes, I
Marshall.
saw her in one of
One
them
Yard.
virtual. Uh-huh.
Right.
Mhm.
I think it's 1
That's the
yard.
one.
And that's what I say. Oh, you sing that, because I thought she was either Vincentian or Saint Lucian. I'm not sure why. But anyway, so that was a good one, even though that was, I think, like I said, 2018 or 2019. But Play Harder, you know what I like? Do Like That. Do Like That. And Is That You Like? I don't know who sang that one. Who sang that one, Peter? Is That You Like? No.
I don't.
Peter, you don't know?
What
What has the world come to?
If Peter
Is
wrote
that
it in there,
He's like
You're not,
the
you,
soca encyclopedia.
Somebody let us know in the comments that song, that and the lyrical "Bend Back, Do Like That." Let me see you do like that, and I think they may have played it,
no, that's the
oftentimes.
same. That's the same
So the
rhythm as
girl,
Fat.
yes,
Like that,
yes.
right?
And Fat was a great song, you know. It was a
It
great
was.
song. I remember.
Fat was the runaway hit before Carnival tunes really came in. Fat was
Yeah.
the runaway
Fat
hits.
It was
and
the
Body.
boxing day road match, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
Body.
real respect for Nadia Batson. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
I don't want to hear nobody talk bad about Nadia Bassi, because Nadia Bassi talented,
Yeah.
charismatic. She is fantastic. So
oh my gosh. We had her at an event recently, and let me tell you. So I had been dealing with her management team prior, and then she walks in on the day. First of all, I didn't even know what to expect, but she just has something about her, like you know what I mean. She just honestly, that like in person, that woman is blessed. She has something about because she walked in
warm.
very quietly. She didn't make a fuss. You could see just warmth shining out of her pores. She just walked in and was just like, oh, okay. Oh, this is Nadia, but okay. And she sat quietly and she was just smiling. You could see she was just taking everything in. But there was no like I didn't feel uncomfortable around her. Like the reason I didn't try to talk to her is because I didn't want to disturb her, like her glow, like her
Yeah.
little piece. But not because she felt standoffish or anything like that. And then
Mhm.
she went on the stage, and you could just like what we had was a little stage. It was like the set. She went on set to perform, and like the first part. First of all, she did like a talk for us, and the first like during that session and all, it was just radiating like good, warm, loving energy. And I think it translated well because everything's been virtual because it's 2020. But our entire audience, the feedback on her session was so good. And then for her performance, like she just, I don't know, but I have to just say, Nadia Batson, first of all, what do you eat? Because your skin, what do you drink? Because your skin, again. And just like, you just have this like warmth radiating out of your body. And I just need to know how to just walk in like permanent sunshine, like with my own spotlight all the time. Just like a serenity so that people don't disturb my peace. Because I look very like warm. So people try to talk to me, but I don't like people doing it. So how do I do that?
We'll ask her whenever we see her, right?
Oh, yes.
So,
So
Box,
we'll ask her about that. I actually just checked my list. I do have the song listed as it could be water, it could be rum, it could be anything. That was the
That
title.
is the name of this song.
But we will wrap up. We'll wrap up this episode here. Thank you for joining us in episode 1. We'll come back in episode 2, chat a little more about 2020 soca, and then we will get into the new year 2021 and what's in store for Carnival. Oh,
2021.
yes.
Yes. Nadia Batson is gorgeous.
Nice.
I just want to say that again. Okay.